To our simulated countdown.
Lunchtime, kids! All right! Hello, friends. It's lunchtime.
Well, greetings and salutations. Hello, everyone. I am Josh. Welcome to the Lunch Break Show. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're right here from 12 until 1 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. As always, I'm joined by Zach Lewis and Xavier and our favorite Matt Stoker. How's it going, sir? That's why we keep him in the box, because he can't contain him.
You don't want me to get hurt.
Exactly.
I want to be released from this box, but I can't be.
You can't be.
Caged animal.
We have take off my Bluetooth. Sorry about that. That's,
Oh,
Nice.
wow, Mr.
that's
Technology.
super embarrassing.
I was hanging onto a headphone jack.
All the things.
We came correct today.
Yeah, totally. Two of the things I want to talk about starting off. We have some guests in studio that are going to be coming up next from the Plano podcast. Podcast that's done exclusively about all things Plano, Texas, which is
Competitors.
a lovely city where I'm from. Yeah, competitor podcasters.
We are actually part of a podcast called the Frisco Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
A little rumbling.
how-
I forgot about
rumbling
that.
in there.
How dare they roll into our turf
Yeah.
and tell us how to podcast?
But first, I want to talk about this happens a lot. I think good intentions that are just mismanaged. Done horribly wrong. And there's two stories I have in mind that are both, I think, at the heart of it, a good idea. But without thinking of it the way that most people do, it tends to go a bit awry. And the first one is a school that has decided to help combat the bullying epidemic, which is out there. It is a huge problem in the world
Zach
today.
scoffing at the idea of
Well,
bullying.
no, just the way he said epidemic made it seem diminutive somehow. Like it wasn't really an epidemic. Like it is a real problem,
I
Josh.
said
you gotta,
epidemic,
Well,
sir.
you did, but you were like the bullying. I don't know.
You can't get much more serious than an epidemic.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm laughing at Josh's delivery of the bullying
Oh,
epidemic,
how
not the
dare
bullying
you.
epidemic. Excuse
So,
me.
In a story about bullying,
Yes.
Zach Lewis is bullying me. I see. Okay. I'm sorry, Zach.
Go on.
I don't have the
Laughing at you.
professional
Just
candor.
Just do the story, all right? Go ahead. Hurry up.
So what they did is to fight the bullying epidemic, they went ahead and a lot of kids that have clothes that may not be up to par. We all knew the smelly kid in class.
Sure.
So they're fighting back with that by putting a laundromat, I'm sure, in the basement of the school. Or somewhere on campus. In my head, it's in the basement of a school. So that if you're the smelly kid in class, well, you can bring your clothes downstairs and you can wash and dry your clothes.
Anybody want to jump on this first?
I think it's a great idea. I mean, that's actually one of the first signals of kids being, oh, God damn it, what's the word? When you're a parent and you don't care for your kids. That's actually one of the first ways. Neglected.
There we go.
Neglected.
That's one of the first signs, and that's actually how school boards or educators know that something must be wrong at home. So I personally think this is a great idea. Awesome thumbs up for that, and I know that someone will have a thought that is like, nah.
I wouldn't say it's a bad idea. The thought behind it, I think, is very well intentioned. In that, yeah, it sucks if you're the kid who. Either for one reason or another, either your parents don't do your laundry, or you don't know how.
You're just a dirty teenager, right?
Yeah, or maybe you don't have the money for a working laundry machine, and you can't make it to the laundromat, but I don't know, once a week or something like that. So maybe you have clothes that get smelly. That's a horrible position to be in as someone going to school. I'm just curious to know how they handle the on-campus laundromat? Is it in a location where everybody knows? And so it's like, obviously, if you're going to the laundromat, you're the kid that's got the smelly clothes.
Right.
So it's like, is it fixing one problem but creating another one?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, everybody knows, well, if he goes into that room, he's getting his laundry done for free. So there's another thing to bully. You're in the laundry room.
When I was in high school, I had to take a couple of years of physical education, as most do, right? And I didn't want to duck into ROTC or anything to try to dodge that. I didn't take any athletics in high school. Junior high did, but not. I was over sports by high school. I was like, I'm done with them. And I had to take physical education, and we all had to rent uniforms, right? And so I had to pay some kind of yearly stipend to rent a uniform from a public tax-paid school, and I had to pay an additional fee to have those clothes washed every week. I could choose to take them home, but they had these giant bins, and they were like, it was like $10 for the year or something. Yeah. And every Friday they'd roll the bins out and they'd say, everybody throw your clothes in there, right? And we had our names Sharpied on the shorts and shirt or whatever. And so everybody that had paid could just throw their stuff in there and they'd just wash them over the weekend. So I assume they had some kind of on-campus stuff. That is a close to a reasonable solution here. The best way to do that would be have some kind of system set up where some kind of family or somebody could roll up and drop off their clothes on a Friday for the weekend after school when nobody's around and nobody can see you to shame you for what is inevitably shameful by societal standards. And you can drop off your clothes, have them washed, and by Monday you pick them up and you're on your way.
Yeah.
Best way I could think to implement that.
If
Anything
you're a kid
short
that's
of
having
that.
to bring in a laundry bag with you along with your book bag,
Right.
and go and do
You do.
your laundry
Like,
on,
those
on
kids will
campus,
never let you live it down.
What if, so like SMU has this thing where you can bring a laundry bag and toss it into his truck. Same sort of deal.
Okay.
Have your name on it. They wash and fold and dry your clothes. And then you come back on like a Tuesday or whatever to pick up that bag.
Yeah.
So if you had that service, and so if every kid had the ability to do it, and then for those kids,
Did you do that again?
for those kids, it was free.
Mm-hmm.
So no one would know it was free because no one knows if you paid the $10 or the $20 a month to get that service done. Whether it's, hey, you know what? I want my clothes. I want to feel whatever it is. And so you just brought your clothes in. And you can get them washed on campus, and they can have it be a part of a school fundraiser thing. They can make it to where it's not about you being underprivileged, but it's about you having school pride, school spirit. That would be a better way to handle it than like, hey, if your clothes stink, because what are you going to wear? What are you going to wear in the process besides like you're right, the generic gym shorts and T-shirt that never fit bigger kids.
Right.
Like you're going to be sitting in that while your clothes are being washed and dried, so everyone knows who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's one of the fails.
Definitely some problems in that scheme, though. Hopefully the implementation is a little cleaner than the stumble backwards into PR for this whole thing.
I just see that as a problem being solved. They're gonna get bullied anyway, so if they're gonna get bullied, they're gonna get bullied.
That's
so
the answer.
if
They're gonna
it's
get bullied anyway. Who cares?
At least they get the chance to clean their clothes.
Yeah. When they get blood from their nose on their shirt, they know exactly where to go to get that blood
That's
out.
right.
Cold water.
The other idea gone wrong is someone got a wonderful gift in the mail, a thoughtful gift from a loved one, a DNA ancestry kit.
Ooh, okay.
So of course I want to know where I'm from. I want to know what countries I hail. All those different kinds of things. The only issue is as I know because I've done this as well. I'm like 35% English and 25% Scottish, and the rest is like Irish, and a small percent, like 1% Native American.
So
that
you're
explains it.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah. So you're
white.
Uber white. Yeah. So I think what they tell you after that is like, hey, I found like a fifth cousin, or hey, we found like your whatever they like trace back through your DNA. They can like trace back and they can find potential relatives.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird. I didn't.
It's
I
weird. My wife
didn't
found
think
some
of that.
family members that way, and there's a sudden connection there, and it's like we've never met, but then now DNA tells us that we're related.
Yeah.
It's odd. It's worked out, but I can definitely see that going awry in other ways.
This guy got his results back, found out where he's from. He also found out he had a 40-year-old daughter
No.
that he did not know about.
Whoa.
Fun little surprise. By the way,
40?
you're from Ireland and you have a 40-year-old daughter.
Hey, here's your kid.
Stem back to a high school relationship that I guess ended, and he didn't know, and no one told him.
So I didn't know if she wanted to talk about this, but she did comment it put it in the comments. So that's what happened to my wife. She didn't she didn't know her dad. Like her mom and dad had split up before she was born, and so all of her life she she knew her mom, she knew her grandma and all that stuff like that, but she didn't know her dad's side of the family. So that's what happened. Was we went through she went through the ancestry thing, and that literal thing happened where he gets a call one day and is like, "Hey, I'm 32 and I'm your daughter."
Wow.
And I mean, he's been really cool about it. Like it has worked out, but it's I could only imagine like trying to be in his shoes and just getting a call out of the blue saying, "Oh, like I don't know how you would feel about that."
Yeah,
like all of a
like,
sudden you have a someone who I assume you feel responsible for. Sure. But you didn't even know they existed.
Yeah, I mean, part of you has to feel like you dropped the ball. Like part of you had to feel like, man, I didn't do my like due diligence.
There's a whole part of something.
Yeah, I didn't like do the one thing I'm supposed to do as a dad, which like be there for someone. But at the same time, if genuinely you didn't know, then what could you do? So that's a yeah. I just thought, man, that would be a really weird like conversation to have with someone.
And then you go ahead.
How was meeting up?
I haven't yet. He lives in Maryland. And I think the plan is to come down. I believe we're planning to go to the state fair, so we'll see.
Nice.
But
you'll
he
have
seems
to
very
report
nice.
on that.
Yeah.
Maybe have Megan on the show.
Sure, absolutely.
Megan, come
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, that's great.
I enjoy that. So
It's got to be weird the perpetual feeling of responsibility following that, right?
Yeah.
Because somebody calls you out of the blue, it's not like you're planning. Hey, I know what I'm going to do today. I'm gonna just immediately stumble into a relationship that I didn't know I was supposed to be a part of.
He didn't have any kids. He didn't have any other kids either. So he was like just living life as
free as a bird.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, and it was. I could only imagine like suddenly being, I don't know what to. I mean, things have been fine, but
yeah,
right.
It's got to be a weird. I'm sure a lesser person would be like, I can't handle this. Right now.
Like Christmas rolls around, do you send a card? Is that a gift card kind of scenario? Full on gift? Where are we? Are you visiting?
Slow roll. You do a card first. You can build up. You can build up.
Work your way up to it.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have Tammy and Mary from the Plano podcast in to talk about all things podcasting in Plano. That and more. We come right back on the Lunch Break Show.
Port Harbor is a quiet, peaceful summer resort. But Port Harbor has been invaded by the ultimate predator, the great white shark.
I've hunted shark all over the world. I've never seen anything like it my whole life.
It's my shark, Rod. Has to be.
The hell it is! There are bodies out there, and more to come if we don't end this thing.
Great White. The most terrifying motion picture of 1982. Great White, rated PG.
What? Why is that woman in the mouth without any? What?
She
what?
was wearing a bikini, Josh. Come on,
Okay.
don't be
How
crude.
did that happen?
That was the
she was
whole
like in a
point.
full uniform. All of a sudden, there you go.
It did look a little skimpy, I'm going to be
Yeah.
honest. From
Yeah.
far away, up on the screen is
Yeah.
tough. Shout out to that awesome helicopter miniature shot in there with the helicopter that goes
great.
down in the water.
Yeah.
That's a good bit. Yeah.
So that is
well
the
done.
1982 movie Great White, the Italian version of Jaws. That
Yeah.
was the Italian ripoff of Jaws.
I don't know who that lead was. We had an Eastwood kind of thing going for him. Yeah, I dig it. That's cool.
I'd watch that.
I'd watch that.
Speaking of sharks, I want to. Well, sorry, this is weird. It's a weird transition. So I was going to talk about Sharknado 9, but I wanted to bring you into the conversation. We have Tammy and Mary here from the Plano podcast. Welcome.
Hey,
two
glad
podcast
to be
worlds
here.
coming together. I love all things Plano, but we're talking about sharks, and I want to talk about. Have y'all seen Sharknado 6? Sharknado 6 came out
I've
like
seen that
over
it
the
exists,
weekend,
but I
yeah.
haven't watched
Apparently,
it.
it was
Yeah.
it took place like during the Revolutionary War. They go back in time, like it
That's
gets
incredible.
Muskets, sharks with
yeah,
muskets.
right.
How do you
George
fight a
Washington
Sharknado?
makes an
Yeah.
appearance in Sharknado 6.
That's
so,
exactly
That
where
doesn't
that
add
series. That's right where that series needs
Yeah.
to be going.
Yeah.
I love
We
it.
saw
man.
Meg. I saw Meg.
Oh, okay.
Which is like
Oh, I
the
saw that-
ultimate
I
shark
saw that over
movie.
the weekend. Yeah.
Was it any good?
No, I mean it was.
No, and there weren't bikinis on top of that,
That's
right?
true.
So
There's
It
no
was
bikinis in the
incredibly
movie?
corny.
Not really.
Some of the stuff was all right, but it was incredibly corny. The whole premise is corny, so I'm not even gonna. I
Right.
read the book when I was younger.
What's Meg? I've never heard of this.
Megalodon.
The megalodon.
The biggest.
The giant prehistoric shark,
Yeah.
right?
True.
And the concept of the Jason Statham film that came out a couple weeks ago is that it's I mean, I didn't see it.
It's cool.
That's giant prehistoric shark somehow survived all
There's
these
this
years in the
layer.
transatlantic
It's pretty cool.
trench or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's-
But there's just no bikinis.
So the Mariana Trench, the lowest point in the ocean.
Sure. Yeah.
So they had this idea that there's a layer there of some sort of substance that's keeping
Hydrogen.
temperature regulated. So below it, it's warmer, and so all these giant squid and all these crazy animals live there. And they went down there, and they're a megalodon down there, all swimming around. And then they get out, and they come and wreak havoc on the,
Oh,
on
so
the
it's more,
surface.
oh, wow, okay.
So there's a scientific basis
Yeah.
to this.
It's
Yeah,
not.
absolutely.
It's kind of
Call
cool. And the
me
guy
facts.
from the trans. It's not. What is it? The
Jason Statham.
Yeah.
the
So the
transporter.
transporter guy's there. So from a lady point of view,
Yeah.
it's a yes.
But for a guy point of view,
No
there's
bikinis.
There's no
bikinis.
bikinis.
On
Yeah.
on the flip side of the movie coin, before we get into this, last night I saw Crazy Rich Asians with Christine.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Solid,
That's great.
Solid date film.
yeah.
It's a good
Genuinely
good.
enjoyable. It is really good. Yeah. Gentlemen, do yourself a solid. Take your ladies to go see Crazy Rich Asians. Or ladies, do men a solid. Take them to go see Crazy. It's fine. Plano podcast. How about that? Yeah. What a transition.
So I stumbled across the podcast because again I live in Plano. I love Plano. I do all things Plano as much as I possibly can.
Thank you.
So I liked at first I thought y'all guys were like a part of the city of Plano, and you aren't. So good.
No.
You get to have a independent view without the bureaucracy weighing you down.
Right.
Yeah. So what made you come up with the concept of doing a podcast all about Plano? Is that you, Tammy?
That's
That's
me.
Tammy.
So back in January of 2016, doing some research on online media
Yeah.
and the whole cloud, the whole system, and it looks like on-demand audio was taking a jump, and paper. Newspaper audio was taking a dive. So I called Mary. I said, hey, you want to have lunch? I have this crazy idea. Maybe we should do a podcast because local media needs us. And she's like, hell yeah. I'm
Love the
quote.
energy, yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's got a journalism background and
I
a
work
TV
for one of
production.
those newspapers, or I did.
Wow.
So
She's got the right background, and I don't have any fear. I'm just too old to be afraid.
Yeah.
And we decided to go ahead and do it. We're 33 episodes in, and now the city has a Plano and now the city has its own podcast.
What, they got their
now,
own podcast?
yes,
what is that?
Legacy has got a podcast. The
They do.
Chamber's going to come up with a podcast, and that's all great. Seriously, it doesn't hit our niche at all.
Sure.
But it's definitely something that it's going to help Plano's brand overall of not being considered like velour tracksuit,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
gold package Lexus world.
Yeah.
So that's really
Nothing wrong
kinda
with
what
that.
they're-
But y'all,
That sounds like the life for me. I don't know.
I'll tell you, it's pretty dope. It's
Yeah.
pretty
It is
dope.
pretty
Yeah.
dope. It's true.
How many tracksuits do you own?
Not only 4, but I'm hoping Christmas rolls around.
Do they all match at
to
least?
upgrade? Oh yeah. I remember 92. My dad bought my mom a purple and gold and green tracksuit.
That's dope.
And
Mardi
he was-
Gras.
Yeah, and he was like, "Hey, he was super proud of it. Like Christmas morning, he
wouldn't
was
he be?
sitting back waiting. She never once wore that thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah.
I have a tracksuit. I
Yeah.
really do. Do you have a tracksuit?
No, it's Lululemon now, don't you think?
Right. That's what's all
That's
about.
true. If I was gonna do one though, it would be velour. It'd be a
Of
velour
course.
suit.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, and Texas
give
is
it-
too hot for that. So, so you have the Plano podcast. What is the city of Plano? Is they going to be called the City of Plano podcast?
Oh my God,
Are
that
they-
is a
are-
whole
are
story.
they
It's
trying
called
to-
No, it's not a-
Inside Plano, the City Podcast. It's
Oh.
kind of a convoluted
No.
name, but it has its purpose. It
It's a
has
mouthful.
yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
What
I'm
is-
glad you found us.
Yeah. Exactly. So, what are some of the coolest stuff that you guys have been able to do with the Plano podcast in your 33 episodes?
I'm gonna let you do it because she tells good stories.
What's the coolest? I don't know.
I don't know. The heroin episode's the most
so
awesome.
we got to talk to some people that took down some drug dealers. and-
Okay, good. You guys
yeah.
weren't doing heroin
No,
on the show.
no.
And so what's
Heroin is
hilarious?
cool. Yeah.
So when we would send emails, it would say, "Hey, we want to talk to you about heroin." I'm like, "No, we're gonna have to rewrite that. People are not gonna respond to that email."
Yeah.
I know a guy who knows a guy. You knock twice, they open the door.
Right.
Yeah. So you were able to talk to the Plano Police Department about doing that?
Yeah, and all the people are involved. It was a multi-law enforcement project, and it's really an amazing story.
Yeah.
It makes you proud to be a Plano resident.
We
when
went
you hear
down to
what they did.
Tyler to talk to the attorney that prosecuted the case and some other stuff. So that one was serious. From a fun point of view, we have learned some stuff that we had no idea. Do you live in Plano?
No.
He doesn't have the pleasure.
I forgive you. You live in Plano.
I
There's
do.
some stuff there that people don't even know
All
about.
right, we're gonna have to throw some podcast shade here in a second. But go ahead, finish a cute Plano story.
Where do you
It's
live?
fine. I'm out in Irving. That's where I am.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, bless your heart.
That's nice.
All right.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right.
So-
Yeah. All right. So fun. I'm sorry. Yeah.
We come from south of 635. Both of us
Right.
came from south of 635. And
Okay.
so when we moved to Plano, we both had impressions like, wow,
Yeah.
tracksuit, right?
Boring.
Sure.
You know, wow.
McMansions.
Yeah.
Right. So
White
part of our
people.
mission is to a bunch of white people. So we want to change it up and share what we're all about and get people like you to move.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of fun.
Plano's a lot more interesting than I thought it was. There's a lot going on. It's much more diverse than people assume it is. It's so it's been fun discovering that.
It has. It really has.
One of the things that if you guys haven't done this, I mean, you probably already have done this, is do the volunteer citizens police.
Oh,
So,
it's fun.
Yeah, I've gone through the academy. I'm an official. Oh yeah,
We should interview him.
Have
Do
the
you have
mug and
powers of
everything.
arrest?
I think what they said is if an accident happens, I can lay cones out. That's about the extent of
You have
my
powers
authority.
of cone.
Yeah,
That's right.
I can get coned up.
I can do that too. Like nothing's stopping me from putting cones out wherever I want.
That's awesome.
They don't catch me. I can do whatever I want.
So you did the story about heroin. Is there anything else that you really you found out that was eye-opening about the city?
Okay, so there are many places in Plano that are haunted. Most people think it's a new place with all these new houses, but downtown has a lot of older buildings, and if you talk to anybody who lives down there or works down there, they will tell you their building is haunted. Almost anybody.
Is there anyone in particular you can say they have a haunted building?
The Masonic Lodge is probably the most haunted building of Plano.
And that building does look like it would be haunted. So they had a big festival in downtown Plano, which we try to go every time we get a chance to, and they were giving free tours of the Masonic Lodge. And so, of course, I went on the free tour. I got to go inside the I forget what it's called, like the temple.
the meeting room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a temple.
Masonic
Yeah,
Yeah, I
right.
went inside the temple and saw all the little stuff that they have. And that room seemed like there's some things.
There's some
It's got
hints in
some
there.
mojo.
Yeah, it's
Well,
got some
they,
mojo there.
they know where the national treasure is, Josh. That's
true.
the whole deal.
And-
It's like a movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, give them a
The
break, all right? They know
Illuminati
what this
are
whole
in
thing's
there.
about. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, thank you guys so much for coming on. It's a great podcast. Check it out. They have the heroin episode. I saw that you guys have talked to Mayor Harry. Now, you're holding up a picture of ice cream.
Yeah.
You
So
got to come
Dairy
from
Queen.
Irving.
I do need to.
Okay.
For
What is
whatever
this?
this is, big
But
time.
I had to just do this. So one of the things we've learned
that
is the
Big Red
weird
ice
stuff
cream?
that we have in Plano that we don't have anywhere else.
Only in
That
Plano.
is a cherry dip cone from Dairy Queen. They have a Facebook page called Cherry Dip Cone Ice Cream.
It's only in Plano?
Oh,
For
Only
real,
the
in
one
all of
downtown.
North Texas. And
Only
it's,
the downtown
it's
one.
a freaking delight.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It is like
road trip.
cherry
I'm all about
almond.
that.
It is so delicious. So
Kind of a
please
waxy
come.
cherry or almond coating.
Yeah.
To God.
I know that Dairy Queen. I just didn't know they had the cherry.
Avenue K, they don't really publicize it. It's for the secret.
There you go.
A little
so now
inside
you know.
knowledge.
Now we know.
And those are the fun things that you learn by listening to the Plano podcast.
Thanks.
Tammy, Mary, thank you guys so much. Check them out.
Thanks
Go
for having
online.
us.
What's the website?
Oh, PlanoPodcast.com.
Easy.
Love it.
So
What a
you go.
great
We got
URL.
it.
Well done.
Yeah, well
Solid.
done.
I really thought through that.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. We're going to come right back. We have fraternity leave, pros and cons. That and more coming up next.
What makes a classic family game? Sometimes it's playing a game a whole new way, like Toss-Across. And sometimes it's creating something nobody thought possible, like the Better Mousetrap. Toss-Across is tic-tac-toe played the three-dimensional way. 3 in a row is all you need.
Oh, Rover did it!
Meanwhile, Mousetrap makes catching a mouse a wild and wacky adventure for your family.
Mousetrap!
Toss-Across and Mousetrap, 2 classic family games from Ideal. Sure, Sir Isaac Newton unraveled the mysteries of gravity, but could he have unraveled the mysteries of Rubik's Cube? 3 weeks ago, Judge Smith retired to her chambers with Exhibit A, Rubik's Cube. She hasn't been seen since. Warning, once you get your hands on Rubik's Cube, you may never be able to put it down. Rubik's Cube, over 3 billion combinations, but just one solution from Ideal.
What was the trick for a Rubik's Cube? There's like some sort of trick that you have to learn that you can do it like super fast.
It's essentially like a series of algorithms you learn like to get a certain because I started doing a little bit back in high school because on top of my cool magic tricks I wanted to be the guy that could solve Rubik's Cube. Never got there. I'm too dumb. But yeah, you just learn a series of like turning. I don't know.
It is crazy when you see like the speed
cubers.
Yeah.
The speed cubers where they're I mean they'll do them in like 5 seconds or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I
It's
knew a kid in
absurd.
school that could do it in like 25. And it was funny because we got the brilliant idea one time to switch 2 stickers on the thing. We're like, oh, we'll switch 2 of the stickers like and swap them. And then we'll have him do it and see how long it takes to figure it out. It took him like 4 seconds. He started, he turned it like 4 times. He's like, who moved this? Like I was like, whoa!
Wow.
Like just immediately like knew something was
Wow.
off. Real quick, Rover in that first commercial. You know what's great about dogs on television? They have no idea they're acting. They're not. They're just being dogs. He's just being a dog, just doing his thing. Doesn't know what the
drop the
cameras are about.
beanbag.
Yep.
Dogs act.
Well, I mean, kind of, but like
they do tricks. They can stop. They can stay. They know when they're on and when
right,
they're
but
off.
that's not. I don't know. That's not really acting for a dog. It's a
Right.
dog just doing a thing. Like
He
it's
doesn't know he needs to be in
yeah.
SAG.
It doesn't have any context for like, oh, we're doing another take. Okay, I'll do
Yeah.
this again. Like it just does its thing for a treat.
Just
Just being a cute dog. It doesn't have real problems. Just doing its thing.
Doesn't have real problems.
So that's
Anybody
his
have
dog.
Mousetrap as a kid? I had Mousetrap. I don't think I ever played the actual game
Nope.
of Mousetrap.
You set up the
just
whole-
set up the thing and you just run the little contraption.
Yep.
and catch the
I
mouse.
had a friend that had it, and that was when it was a very little regular thing. Yeah, I'd be like, let's play Mousetrap. And then by the time you get it all set up, you're like, I don't even care about the game anymore. I just want to do it, and then we're done. Like that's the whole
That's
game.
all you need.
Mousetrap?
Mousetrap.
Did that not make its way over there to Portugal?
Let me Google that.
Let me Google that.
Yeah.
Well, while you're Googling, we have a new thing hitting the U.S. And it is your fraternity leave. And that's not a fraternity leave for your fraternity of brotherhood. It is your fraternity as in your maternity leave, but for your pets.
I think our guest on Monday would have enjoyed this.
Yes.
Fraternity.
Yeah. So when your puppy has puppies, you can take 6 weeks off to nurture both your pet and its loved ones to a happy childhood. Surprisingly, I'm okay with this.
Okay. Well, real quick, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's 1 week. I don't think it's 6.
It doesn't matter.
I think it's a week.
I think it's a week.
Yeah.
You're okay with this?
Yeah. Here's why. I think everyone should get it across the board. No matter if you have kids or not kids. It's not fair just because you have kids, you get an additional time off. So just build that into your vacation and pad everyone's vacation per year. So if you have a kid, you got it built up, and that's your thing.
This is like the smoking thing that we talked about a long time ago.
Everyone gets a break. So
Yeah, I'm
if
into
you want to play video games, you want to smoke cigarettes, you want to drink a beer, whatever it is. Well, probably shouldn't drink beer, but whatever it is, you have that time to go do that.
Right. You can't claim that somebody's like life is more valuable or important than somebody else's just because they follow the societal standard of having a child or getting an animal. We're all the same.
Yep.
We all have the same needs. Why not give that person a week off and give that person a week off too? I'm into that.
Well, you get more than a week off for paternity leave or maternity leave, right?
Fraternity leave, you get a week.
Well, what I'm saying though is
maternity leave.
Right.
Yes.
if you're making it commensurate with
So
maternity leave, you get more than a week.
my maternity leave from iHeart was 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
Jeez, only?
Yeah, 2.5 weeks.
I was gonna say I think that's generous, isn't it? Normally for a dad, it's like a week,
for
a
dad,
week and change.
Yeah. So yeah, it was about 2.5 weeks. My wife got 6 total from her job, which I mean it seemed fair enough to me. And that's the weird part is they shouldn't. Is that I think most people make the mistake of doing it right off the bat. Those first week or two, you have grandparents, aunts, uncles, friends, everyone's coming over, and I didn't hold the kid at all. Or sorry, I didn't hold my darling son at all for the first probably day or two.
The kid,
because my my mother-in-law was a first-time grandmother and was just there, all the time,
sure.
And
Hovering over, helicoptering.
Yeah, I would have been probably a much better help to my wife had I gone back to work immediately after, and then taken 2 weeks after 2 weeks, and then that would have been after the new kind of wears down. That's when you really need the help. But either way, they don't do that for you.
I mean, this fraternity thing, it's like a company is doing this, like a specific company is doing
some
this.
tech startup or something.
I don't have a problem with it in the sense that if your company wants to give you leave for whatever reason, then they're more than they're more than welcome to. I don't know that it should be something that should be enacted into some sort of legal code. And I mean, it's been nice that we're able to do it with fostering because my wife works from home, and I don't know that we'd be able to do that as much just because. You bring a dog in the house, you don't know what it's going to do. You don't know if it's going to have separation anxiety or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, situations like that, I don't know. I mean, it's one of the things where I think people get too get too wrapped up about whether or not they should kennel their dogs or things like that. And it's okay to leave your dog at home by itself every once in a while. You go to work, it's fine. The dog will be okay as long as you kennel it. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It kind of seems like something that I don't know that I would ever take advantage of.
Yeah. When I said I'm okay with it, what I meant was I'm not going to be that's ridiculous and that's stupid. I'm fine with it. I'm fine. A company has the right to do whatever they want. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. It shouldn't be a law that every company is required to give you fraternity leave. But I think it's one of those deals. Every company has the right to, because you choose a job accordingly.
Right.
So if hey, I would like a job that respects my parenthood of animals, then you can definitely choose that route.
Yeah,
I do see Christine in here has some hot takes.
Yeah.
She seems fired up. She says, "Wait, what? No, sorry, no, no to fraternity leave." So she is.
Well,
she's
she brings up an interesting point. Is it paid? Like, are we talking about?
Well, my leave wasn't paid. I got paid for it because I didn't actually take paternity leave. I took I had sick days stacked up.
Yeah.
I had like basically 2.5 months of sick days that I could just use because I never took sick days.
Right.
Yeah. So I had those. So I just took those.
So you didn't actually get paternity leave?
Well, no, they call it paternity leave, but paternity leave I wouldn't have gotten paid for.
Right.
So paternity leave, you don't get paid. Yeah, you just like take a break. And what the law is for maternity leave is when you come back, you get either you get to keep your job.
Right, you just don't get
to get fired.
Sacked. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the rule. I don't think it has to be
system.
I don't think it has to be the same job. It has to be like the same pay. So they can move you around accordingly, but they can do that anyway for whatever reason.
Is that really a thing while you're gone on maternity leave?
What?
You can come back and just be in a different job?
Sure, but you could do that before. Like you could turn around tomorrow and be in a different job.
I guess that's true.
So but they have to pay you the same wage. At least that's what I think. Anyway, I'm sure somebody will drop a hot link in here.
Shout out to the invisible hand of the free market. Thank you.
My wife jumps in to remind me that newborns wake up and eat every 2 or 3 hours, so it's always helpful having help overnight. Josh, that's right. That's why I was there the first 2 weeks. I forgot about that part. It's crazy things that you forget about. Even like 15 months after.
Well, you just have no memory of it, probably.
I was going to say, when you're sleep deprived, I get it. Your brain isn't exactly locking things in. Man. You're kind of just making it happen.
There was tons of like 3 a.m. Like I'm just in the fridge. I'm in the kitchen walking around holding a baby that's just screaming in my ear for no apparent reason, and nothing you can do stops it. And you're just like, well, this is my life.
Live with it.
He stops that after a while, and it's great. But,
right.
Thank you, Rachel, for reminding me. That's why I was home the first 2 weeks. I had almost forgotten. Take a quick break. When we come back, we have a museum fail in Anna's home country of Portugal. That and more when we come back on the Lunch Break Show. I know Anna does. Loves going to museums. Zach, man.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
You like certain kinds of museums. You made some claims about art museums on this show.
Go ahead, sir.
Well, I don't have anything.
Make your case.
There is no case. Matt, can you pull the footage, please? I don't have anything.
There are some forms of art that I don't particularly like.
Which I guess is a fair statement for everybody.
Everyone.
Everybody's got their tastes. I get that.
But when I'm going to a museum, I try my best to go, hey, look, a piece of wood in the middle of a floor. I get that. Hey, look. Dental floss and a ball. I understand what that
Do you understand what that means?
Nothing. No.
I really have a hard time kind of interpreting, with air quotes, modern art or conceptual art. I really struggle. I'm like, if I don't have
modern art every day.
I need the kind of like the leaflet, and I'm like, okay, so he means this. Oh, fascinating. Let me let me have a look again.
Yeah. If I had like the artist there saying this is what I was interpreting from each one. Like what's the famous one in Madrid, Guernica. Yeah, so it's the bombing of Spain or whatever it is. So it has to do, I think, of like with the aftermath, and so that's why all the pieces are everywhere.
Yeah.
After you explain it to me, I'm more on board. But I can walk into a classic done. I forget what the art form
Renaissance.
is. Yeah, I see like a vase and an apple, and I go, hey, I know exactly what that's supposed to be. That was a good painting of an apple. You did a great job.
I love modern
But
art.
again, you kind of studied. Didn't either you study or like through life you had, you probably watched documentaries or like, you're more likely to have kind of a context throughout your life.
Sure.
Yeah.
And as I will say this, as I've grown older and gone to more museums, I get more and more of an appreciation for different things. And I go, I can see how that catches the eye, and I learned about focal point, all the different kind of stuff. My wife is a art history minor, so she educates me every chance that she can get.
I need to go to a museum. I love having someone next to me that's kind of like, so this means this and that doesn't.
Yeah.
Really?
I love that.
Man.
I love that.
No, put me in an art museum with headphones and Spotify alone, and I'll just do my own thing for 4 hours, and it's the greatest. Like, just get lost in music and art. I can do it forever. I love it.
So this is a one of those conceptual modern art take pieces, and it's in Portugal, and it is a flat, what looks like to be a flat circle in the ground. You can see a hole. That right there, what you're looking at, is the actual artwork.
That is a photo of it. Yeah.
So what it actually is an 8-foot drop into nothing.
Yes. Into a concrete floor.
That's impressive because it doesn't look like that at all. It looks like somebody just laid a black rug on the ground.
I've got some details here. I forget the name of the artist, but this is the person who did the giant bean in Chicago. Same person. Yeah. What they did
is takes a picture at.
Right. This person, I forget the name of the artist. They secured the artistic rights to this thing called Vanta Black.
Yeah.
Which you're probably familiar. Is that like carbon nanotube coating that absorbs like 99.8% of light that hits it?
It's like the blackest substance.
Right.
Ever.
It's the blackest substance we have, and he got the exclusive artistic rights to it. And this is what he did with it. He cut an 8-foot hole in the ground, and he covered it in Vanta Black so that it looks like a flat circle on the ground. Right. And it's supposed to be some kind of commentary on, I don't know, it's whatever you take away from it, I guess. I haven't been to the museum to see it.
So the artist is called Anish Kapoor.
Of course.
Anish Kapoor.
Yeah.
Christine's a fan in the comments.
Oh,
yeah. Anyway.
There we go.
To me, this should have been called Lawsuit. That's the name of this piece.
I mean, look at this. Like, there is nothing.
Yeah.
First of all, why does it have to be 8 feet deep?
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous. That
Right, you're right. It could have been 6 inches and it would have looked the same. Because it's Vanta Black. It would have made a difference.
Or a foot or something. I mean, a foot you could still get hurt in, but like you're not going to fall. You're not going to free fall into this hole. And second, like, why are you not putting something around that?
Like,
it ruins the art.
Apparently they had people standing around like they do, like attendants or whatever, that were standing there that were like, hey, not a joke. It's really a hole. And there were also supposedly signs, which you can't see here. But, I mean, that's part of how the internet works. We talked about that on the show before. Yeah. The internet gets a hold of something and goes, why aren't there signs? Where isn't that? It's like, supposedly there was. You just can't see them. They're out of frame. But you're right. There is almost no good reason to actually go to the trouble to carve an 8-foot hole in the concrete.
I mean, did we say what happened here?
A guy fell in. Yeah, a guy walking around.
60-year-old Italian man.
Yeah, fell into the hole.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure it hurt. He didn't to my knowledge, didn't get major damage, but it had to have hurt. Because
probably did.
Yeah.
I mean, but the thing is, I've been to this museum. It's where I went to college. The city where I went to college is in Porto, where the port of wine comes. And
fun fact.
Fun fact. So the museum itself is not gigantic. So you have plenty of people. Like, they're sometimes even bothering. They're just kind of like, they're like on your back all the time. So I'm kind of like fascinated that these happen. But I guess like with anything, you just Google like tourists doing stupid stuff on museums, and you just get a whole bunch. Like someone that actually touched like a very old clock.
Sure.
And a Chinese tourist that touched the clock and like kind of broke it, and the whole thing broke and fell on the floor. That guy isn't gonna leave China anytime soon.
I mean,
according to the standards.
This is part of where I will I'll blame the old man in a way, because if you think that's just a painting on the ground, but it's art, like don't go over there and step on it. Just don't do that. Like don't go try to walk across it. If it were a painting on the ground, like you wouldn't say, "Oh, it's all right to go like trample all over it." But a guy goes over there and like that's what you get.
Nice.
But to be fair, if when I'm in a museum and I have my little flyer of exhibits to walk to, and I'm walking around, my head's in the book trying to find my next place I want to go. Maybe I'm not looking around.
So he's not paying attention.
So I'm thinking the floor is a safe place to walk in most places.
No one's gonna dig an 8-foot hole.
I don't know, man. Bright concrete and an 8-foot Vanda black hole. Like it's tough. What? Okay. I think the problem here, I hate to say, is it's like a 70-30 kind of thing, right? Like 70% man's arrogance.
Man's arrogance.
Because he wasn't like,
well, I'll show you.
Come on. You know, if you were at a museum and that was open and you could go over to it, what do? You tow it, right? You just kind of dab at it, see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to bend over it. There's people around. You're not supposed to touch art, right? Right. So you just kind of quickly when nobody's looking, you just kind of like tow at it.
Yeah.
And this guy, I mean, I know he's 60, but like you can't tell me he slipped. You know, he had a little bit of confidence. He was like, "That's fake, and I'm gonna show you. Like I'm gonna stroll across
this thing."
And that was a bad move. But also, it seems like a bad move by Mr. Kapoor. I think art is it's not. It's how you feel when you look at it. It's a feeling. That's the art. That's what you get from it. So if you look at this and you go try to stick your hand in it and you find out that it's not what you thought, it's not just a painting, it's actually a hole in the ground, that feeling of surprise and curiosity and astonishment and excitement, that's the art. That's what you got out of it. And if this guy didn't get that to the point where he was like, I'm going to show you how wrong you are, you kind of missed the whole point.
Well, that would be, that would be cool.
Feeling.
Well, yeah.
It was pain.
Like a hospital bill is what he got.
He understood it well. But that would be cool if it were on, I don't know, a pedestal or something, and there was a hole carved down into it, and it looks like just a black painting on top of a pedestal where they're like, hey, go over there and try to touch that thing, and then you reach your hand down in there and your mind is blown, and you talk about it for the rest of the day. Wow, gosh, I stuck my hand into a hole that I didn't think existed. But you don't stick it on the ground where people are going to be walking around.
No, you're right. Fun fact, there was an earlier version of this before Mr. Kapoor secured the artistic rights to Vanna Black that was because I looked this up, it was like a cube kind of room thing that you go into, and there was a hole in there that was just black paint, and it was kind of dim, so you couldn't really see it. And that was a little bit more like go into this thing, you're well aware of what it is, like you're stepping into an exhibit.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's what this is. Maybe it's just a big room from what I can tell, but it looks like it's just in the museum and somebody just rolled in and would stumble into it. So yeah, the execution's a little poor. I agree. It should have had a little bit more, some kind of like, hey, we're not kidding. This is a real thing. You know, like don't be a fool. Yeah.
I guess it's because it's a Portuguese museum, so I'm like, don't talk about my museums. But I just like think it's like really dumb. You didn't hear about a child falling. You heard about a grown-up man falling. So that's when I'm like, I've seen in so many instances in really crowded museums in London and here, anywhere in the US, like people are careless and people will not use their common sense. What I've seen, like people touching paintings on, you can't touch that. Like that's your hands. Like you shouldn't be touching things. And people just touching it close. People like to push boundaries, so that even though there's no boundary, I mean, it's people.
Isn't that what art's all about? Pushing boundaries.
Let's be
in a way, that Italian man was his own artist and was pushing the boundaries.
He's made quite a statement.
You're right though. If this had happened in America, like this would have happened the day after it went up, and it probably would have been a kid or like somebody who would have, not that he wasn't injured, but like somebody who would have really been hurt, and it would have been a whole how to do. But like it happens in a foreign country, the thing's out for a few weeks or a month or so, and then somebody falls in. It's like, it's unfortunate, but there's certainly a statement on personal responsibility in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Two
other things I want to get to before we sign off. We're getting close to 1 o'clock, and that is 2 marketing things involving food. This is the lunch break show. We have to have food-related news.
Of course.
The first one is a marketing term, is a marketing for the animal cracker. You wouldn't have to think that the animal cracker would need better marketing.
The Barnum's animal cracker.
Yeah, the Barnum's.
Which are my favorite, by the way. Those are the best.
Yeah, phenomenal.
All other knockoff animal crackers need to
Do you
step
go
up.
head or tail first?
Crumbled into a foot or something
Right.
like that.
I'm a big just eat it all in one shot guy, but that's just me.
So the animal cracker, the previous box of animal crackers had the animals in the train style like crates.
Yeah.
Some would call them cages, but the train style crates.
A room with bars.
Wasn't it just like a circus or something?
Yeah. So
National Traveling Circus.
Yeah. But they had Barnum animal crackers, but now they've changed it to where the animals are in the wild. They look.
If it wasn't for the cages, but it's fine. It's fine.
I'm pulling up some pictures
To me,
here for
apparently PETA had put them under a lot of pressure.
Oh, PETA.
Oh, wow.
Because again, that's what really matters, not the actual animal abuses, but the box of animal crackers. That's
right.
That's a battle they're all playing. Did they add an animal?
Is there
because
a
the other
gorilla
one they only
there?
had 4.
Well, they also had polar bears.
So they had no zebras.
Yeah, okay.
So
polar
they
bears, they added giraffe and a zebra.
Yeah.
There. Although they had other animals on other sides of the box.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to me, it's just one of those deals like it's just unnecessary. I get it. It's fine. It's just unnecessary.
Yeah, it's a fun PR move for a couple days. Somebody somewhere will be like, "Hey, I saw that in the news," and
they do some.
Sure.
They get a bad rap for things like this, where the headline is PETA changed.
That's my issue with them as well.
And that's fair.
And other things that are completely unnecessary. I saw this, and it was one of the articles that y'all sent. Puppy ice cream?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
And it's not ice cream made out of puppies. That is something that PETA would definitely be all over. It is ice cream that looks like a puppy.
PETA would probably be all over this anyway, right? Like, who are we kidding?
I guess,
I'm sure they have some kind of anyway.
Because it was made after a dog, and that dog doesn't have the rights to the
where
proceeds.
you're having people eat things that look like animals that are alive,
But
and you can't. Yeah.
I asked my wife because we, a lot of us here are dog hovers. I said, "Hey, would you eat this?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, totally would."
Totally.
So it looks, and it does. That is artistry. That is phenomenal.
Oh, it's
Looks
crazy
good.
looking.
Yeah. I would have a hard time digging into it.
Where it's just like a slow, like cutting the puppy's face off while you're while you're about to eat it, and that's like really distressing looking. This when it's crumbling apart, it's cool, but it is crazy how realistic it is.
$350 for that. That's all it costs. $350.
It's not bad. Is that only
Would be eating it and crying.
in
realistic it looks, the more to the head that you have to start.
Oh no!
Like if it looks totally
Make
cartoon,
it look as get to
matter.
just the ice cream part as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Get the puppy face off.
In your
So
mouth,
the people
done.
that were going like after the paws first, you're monsters. You're just taking someone's paw and eating it.
Start on the back, work your way forward,
Oh,
like that
man,
girl in
no.
Nightmare on Elm Street 3. It's good stuff. Yeah.
We don't have to show a clip because I'm just now remembering this. I put it up on our Slack account. The seaweed pods of water.
Oh no! Did you put this up? I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
so this is a new trend. So to save the environment,
Oh no!
straws are no longer a fight anymore. We're going after water bottles.
Okay.
No more water bottles.
Okay.
So what they give you now is a seaweed bag. So it's a bag made of seaweed. Like They found a way to like process it, and they put water in the bag, and it's a ball. It's a ball of water, about the size of a clementine, probably.
Okay.
You can bite a hole in it and drink the water. You can put the whole thing in your mouth, and water just shoots down your throat, which would be a really weird feeling. They can do more than water. They can do different flavored drinks. You have a little like edible pouch.
Sure.
They have soap for when you're in the shower. You can, and then you have soap ready to go.
Okay. Well, that's
different plastic pods. So plastic is no longer needed to contain your product. Seaweed is more takes like half the time to get. It's super easy to make it, and they're saying that that could do a much bigger impact on the environment than fighting the straws epidemic.
If they could figure out a way to make that stuff like the seaweed, I guess, break down to a point where it could go down a drain. That would be great for like dishwashing pods.
It dissolves.
But it can't.
It dissolves.
Oh, okay.
Dissolves.
Just completely?
So yeah, you put the seaweed, according to the commercial, you put the seaweed pod in your mouth.
Yeah.
And it just dissolves.
That'd be great for like Tide Pods.
And they said it has no flavor.
Yeah.
So you can't taste anything, and it has like a natural protein. So actually, it's
things look
water.
weird.
Huh?
These things look weird.
Yeah.
I gotta get a look at these things.
So let's see if we can find a way to put
Okay,
it up.
so make your case.
Wow.
What's wrong with this?
Nothing. I think it's perfect. I think it's just one of those deals. It's going to cost a little bit of money to get, but this could actually be a move forward in realistic. So there you go.
Oh, I've seen this.
Okay, that's kind of neat. A little bit, right?
So
like that's
I want to know how durable it is.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say how easy is it to get into that thing? Like, am I have to chew on this
So
thing
I
for a little
saw
while?
a video. I saw a video again of a guy taking it, and he just wanted to like suck the water out, and he just like real quick and just drank the whole thing.
Yeah.
All I've seen people just put the whole thing in their mouth and bite, and it burst, and it. That to me would be the most.
How about
Oh,
how hygienic is this? Really?
It's sterile.
I'll tell you what's great about
Yeah,
this.
but well, like you're not.
Yeah, but how do you package that, right? Like
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah,
just
yeah. Oh,
it's gotta be
hold
in
it.
plastic.
It's got to be like an
Of
egg
course.
carton
Plastic
kind of
rings.
setup, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the only thing I could think that would hold
Probably.
that.
Still though, I mean, like people are putting their hands all over that thing, and then you're just.
Exactly. That's
Okay,
Pop it
when
in your
you
mouth?
when you eat fried chicken, just go back.
I do that all the
yeah.
time.
How do you clean your fingertips?
What are you talking about? I lick them.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
thing.
Those are my hands.
Yeah.
I'll lick my hands all day long.
But when you're getting that pod out, I mean, it's not been handled by everybody. You're not going to a
know.
bin of pods. They're going to have to find some way to maybe put more like seaweed, I don't know, or some sort of, you're right, biodegradable packaging that you put
Yeah.
the pods in.
Right.
That's only your hands that touch the pods.
I tell you what I like about this. They basically, it seems to me. When was the last time you guys threw a water balloon?
Not near.
Yeah, not soon enough.
Soon enough. Yeah.
Because if those were things, you got yourself a game, and you're introducing those like into society everywhere.
Yeah.
Like instead of going to the fridge and getting
Pre-made
somebody a
water
bottle of
balloons.
water, I can bring them that. And if somebody I'm particularly friendly with, right, or maybe have had a rough day, or hit catch. Like I don't know. Yeah, there's a little bit of
I can only
something there.
imagine being here though, and like somebody comes in, and it's like, yeah, can I get water, please? And you just throw them a little blob of
yeah.
a little blob of jelly, and be like, here you go.
There would be no better way for people to remember us and what we do than handing
Oh, yeah.
them that.
Oh,
They'd
yeah,
be
can we
like,
get that
you're
thing
not going to
printed?"
believe. Take a photo, get some branding on there. Can we get a logo up there? Like that's perfect.
This seems very like 2050, where it's like, here's your hydration unit.
Yeah.
Take this,
Right.
scan
Yes.
your button. That's what this seems like to me. You have to have 5 hydration units a day.
Right. Here's your allotment of hydration
so,
orders.
But you know what? It's cool that people are still being innovative and thinking about new ways to drink water.
I'm not
They didn't
against
go-
it. I want to try it.
I'm
if
right.
it's chewy, I'm out.
I'm all in for like soap. That's perfect. Like instead of like a soap dispenser, if you just had a thing, you stick your hand in, just like boop, and you just on your way. Like
Yeah.
that'd be great. Body wash in the shower, shampoo, just boom, you're on your way.
Right, yeah, just
Done.
slam it on
yeah,
there.
bam,
just
yeah.
slapping yourself in the
Be
shower.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like how efficient is that?
There you go. So there you go. And hopefully this pans out and it becomes the next new wave, and we can cut down on the plastic that is tends to be collecting somewhere in the sea, and we can kind of
And
move
never
forward
disappearing in our lifetime.
That's right.
until we burn it, which
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
and then
then
it turns
it's-
into
then it's
smoke
gone.
and goes up and makes stars.
Makes stars.
they can be stars. Perfect. That is your show for today. Come back on Friday with another fun lunch break show for you. We're here again every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 12 until 1 right here on the RNCN Network. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and wherever podcasts are being heard. I am Josh, Zach, Anna, and Matt. Have a phenomenal Wednesday. See you back here on Friday.